Out of all the characters Mattel has released over the last nearly 20 years, Ramone here has received the third most unique versions, just behind the obvious Lightning McQueen and Mater. And I'd say that's pretty remarkable, but also pretty understandable considering he changes up his paint job multiple times throughout the movies. Then you have the shorts, Cars on the Road, and Mattel loves to toss Ramone a bone, even when he really has no business being in the series, like the Glow Racers Ramone that we just got a couple months ago. Like, was that really necessary? But hey, Mattel loves to release him. He's very popular. And yeah, here we are today reviewing the Thailand variant of Lightning Ramone. And when I say he has the third most versions, I'm not talking about Thailand variants. I'm talking about unique paint jobs like Lightning Ramone, his Retro Ramone from the Storytellers line, which is another bonus one that he got on top of other characters, Cruiser Ramone, Hydraulic Ramone, etc., etc. And just within the capsule of Lightning Ramone himself, this is the sixth different version within that I have received. Now, granted, two of them over here are prototypes, but we have the original Chinese version, the hydraulic version, and a factory custom in the background that no one really knows about. So I'm excited to get into everything here. Lightning Ramone came out of Case S of 2025 singles. I just unboxed that, so I'll leave the link in the description below and card suggestion in the top right-hand corner. The case also included Jonathan Gearson, which, yeah, I mean, that's pretty significant. He's kind of taking all of the attention in this case, and I already reviewed him as well. So sorry, Ramone, but hey, it's understandable. You are just a variant. Jonathan is a new character. And yeah, this store is actually hitting Target stores across the US, which is fantastic news. I think it also has hit Canada as well. So very exciting. I was even able to find this case myself. So good stuff all around. I love the artwork that they've always used for Lightning Ramone here. In fact, this is his first release in 9 years. So we're always talking about, hey, Acer, first release in 10 years. Lightning Ramone, very close, his first in 9, but he had been released a lot beforehand in 3 packs. He's gotten single release in 2008, 2009, 2013, and 2016, I believe it was. So this is his, like, was that, yeah, 8, 9, 13, his fifth single release. So yeah, I mean, even though the time, between releases is still massive, he had gotten a lot more releases beforehand than, an Acer, for example. But yeah, excited to crack him open. I did an examination between the two that I have. I'm very glad I noticed that this other version here has a massive chip on his left taillight there. You could see really just take a chunk off of it. You can actually see the paint floating around in the blister there. So lucky that I noticed that. And yeah, since both cards are pretty much the same in terms of quality, we're going to open up the one that has a better vehicle inside, which is something you should always cross-reference and double-check if you're deciding which card to open. Is package quality more important to you, or is die-cast quality more important to you? As seen in Cars 1, that is correct. Daryl Cartrip, Mario Andretti, Dexter Hoover with green flag up top there. They were from Case Q. And then these are your Case R folks. Christina Whelan, Pit Crew member Sarge, who they're just calling Pit Crew Sarge now, and JW. So yeah, these were 3 releases from each of the 2 previous cases before the case Ramone is in here, Case S. I think we all kind of understand that Mattel still adheres to series, just they don't publicize, they don't tell us, they don't put on the package, hey, this is the Pit Row series. But I mean, we've gotten Mater with Sign, we've gotten Pit Crew Sarge, Lightning Ramone. All 3 of them appear in the exact same scene, and maybe they're making it like a Rust-eze Pit Crew kind of thing all together, and so that's how you get My Name's Not Chuck in there. But then you look at, those top 3 releases, and, Christina Wheel and JW, highly related releases, so I definitely think they're doing series to some extent. But yeah, I mean, then you get Graham and Acer, and it's pretty much just them 2 in a series all by themselves. So I'll be right back with Mr. Ramone here all opened up.
If you're finding I've been too much on your plate, I'll keep hiding.
So yeah, Ramone, not the third most main character, I'd say, in the Cars franchise, but he's up there. Maybe he's top 7, top 8. And yet he has gotten just so many releases over the last, like I said, nearly 20 years now. And by the way, while I show you guys where Lightning Ramone appears in the movie, which is at the final race in Cars 1, coming out to support McQueen, hence why he painted himself with the lightning stripe. They're kind of his own take on it, not a direct translation of McQueen's bolt, but we all get the point that he is Team McQueen. I want to tell you guys, I have so many plans for 2026, and a lot of those plans will start coming to fruition later on this year as we gear up for the Cars 20th anniversary. It's going to be a humongous deal, or at least I'm going to make a big deal out of it. I don't know what Mattel is going to do for it. I really hope they do a lot for it, more than what they did for the 15th anniversary, and they should. The 20th is more significant than the 15th, but you just really have no idea when it comes to Mattel. And yeah, I, for one, am going to do a whole bunch of preliminary type videos speculating on what the main line should look like, how much they should focus on Cars 1 and celebrate it, or should they kind of just, take the 20th anniversary but celebrate all of Cars. So that is all coming soon here on the channel. But yeah, let's get into the comparison here. Right off the bat, you can see that his colors changed dramatically from this more metallic orange to a traditional red that I definitely think is more accurate. So that's already a humongous advantage. But keep in mind that they did already tweak this a little bit when they did the hydraulic version of him. But for whatever reason, the hydraulic version just never matched any Chinese iteration of Lightning Ramone, just regular here, all fours on the ground, if you know what I'm saying, not using the hydraulics. But yeah, the expression is an upgrade, I would say. I've always kind of hated Ramone's expression because they're so monotonous and robotic. And while this one isn't, that much better, it's not like he's looking off to the side or anything like that. Still, I think the eyeliner improves the look of it. And even though it's an eye plate, this is a plastic piece inserted in instead of a part of the main metal body. I'm definitely a fan of it. Now, Lightning Ramone is one of the least designed paint jobs that he has, along with Cruisin' Ramone. I'll show you guys in a little bit, because the only decal is that on the side here being the bolt, which is what we're going to focus on and take a look and see how each country of manufacturing did it. But yeah, the change in color of the cars, orange versus red, is wild to me. But you can see the wheels are pretty similar. I'd say a little less gold, more of a darkened kind of mucus color, which is not a great thing to say. The silver is also a little more gray now, but we've come to expect that. Although I will say they kept a nice silver trim along the fins here and the windows. I think that looks good, but you have now blue windows, which is a little weird. I don't know really where that came from. I thought this would be something that they would have changed from the prototype. I'll show you that as well, because my prototype has blue windows. I was like, it's a prototype. It's understandable. And yeah, they didn't change that. So I don't know. I'm a little confused on that. They really should be gray. That's probably the worst thing about it, if we're being honest. And then you have Low and Slow here. His trademark license plate. It looks fine. It's a little blurry. It's not as brightly white as the Chinese version, but I think the taillights look better. The lights themselves are a little bit bigger, like the red parts of the lights are a little bit bigger. And you can see, look, brand new. And yeah, this even still has a little bit of a ding on the tip of the fin there. My original version has a chip on the tip of the fin. There's very sensitive, vulnerable areas for Ramone. And really any car with a fin, and it comes to an extreme point like that. Anytime it comes to a point, the paint is just going to be so much weaker. So keep an eye out. Don't bang it against anything. Don't mess it up, because it'll chip quite easily. But yeah, I think the taillights look really good, and the license plate's straighter. This one got applied a little jankily. What the hell are we doing there, Mattel? But yeah, the other thing that they started doing with Ramones about 10 years ago now is they stuck this little insert into the back. You can barely see it with the blue window, but it is in there. It's like a little pop-up thing that Ramone has in his interior that I honestly don't fully understand what it's all about, but it's been in there for, like I said, about 10 years now on every version of Ramone. Here's one of the newer purple versions of Ramone from China. Here is pretty sure this is a Vietnamese version of Ramone. That's in the back there. But none of these original Ramones had it. So that's an interesting distinction there. Let's take a look at the base here. Let's take a look at the other side. T50A means he was produced during the 50th week of 2024 at the A factory. You have the Chevrolet trademark because he is a real-life Chevy Impala, so they got to do that, made in Thailand. And you have his product code up here. Should expect when case T comes around, all of the production dates will be in 2025. It'll be the first time we see anything made in 2025. So, yeah, I mean, the expression's better, the color's better, decal's pretty much the same. The windows are extremely weird, though. I can't wrap my head around that. Overall, I think it's a win, though. I think it's a win. Now let's compare him to the hydraulic version of Ramone that came out in 2015 in a 2-pack with Floyd with Trey. I remember distinctly where I found this. I was at a New Orleans Walmart on vacation, swung by Walmart before heading back home, and I found this along with the 2-pack that overshadowed it heavily. Both were brand new to the case, but Lost in the Desert, Van, and Mini debuted in the same case, and yeah, they took all of the spotlight, understandably so. 2 amazing new releases in the case together that honestly are quite forlorn these days. But anyways, yeah, this is when they changed this color tremendously here from that orange to a little bit of just a flatter red, similar to what we're working with now, but not quite as shiny, not quite as metallic. I thought the expression was halfway decent. They painted his mouth for his teeth there, which is good. Mine always had this weird like blue smear on the side. That has been there from day one. And yeah, the windows look pretty good. Like, I mean, these are very accurate to the art. Just, you know, an opaque gray. Looks pretty good. Can't see in there at all. Yeah, super opaque. But yeah, I still wouldn't say that this color is super accurate. I think it's a little too just basic crayon red. It needs to have a little bit of sparkle. Ramone's never going to paint himself in like a drab color, so I think this coloring is a little bit more accurate, but the windows are so much better here. But I also like the eyeliner on the Thailand version more than how the eyes look here on the hydraulic version. And let's show you the Chinese factory custom now, which has even more of a gimmicky red color in my opinion. I don't like the shade one bit, but you can see kind of interestingly enough that they credit Chevrolet Impala, even though they are, yeah, this is a complete factory custom here. So at least they have some class. But yeah, the eyes don't really look great. I mean, this is overall a decent factory custom. I remember buying it at the time because it was almost like if they took this paint and put it on a regular regular Lightning Ramone, I should say. But now we kind of have that almost through the Thailand version here. But yeah, I mean, windows look good. It's just, again, you get that issue with the coloring. The red is just so off. Ramone's actually gotten a lot of factory customs over the years, and a lot of them get swept under the rug because they aren't very different from, you know, like there's an intro Ramone that's a little bit different from the Mattel version, but the ones that people really focus on are like the hydraulic versions of paint jobs that Mattel didn't do hydraulic, which I know it's a lot going on there, but basically they did an intro Ramone, the blue version from Cars 3, and a fan favorites Ramone, hydraulic, factory customs. Mattel never did either of those hydraulic. So yes, factory customizers, if you're out there, do a Ghostlight Ramone next. Do the red hydraulic version, which is such a horrible name. Let's be honest. This version of Ramone here that is just like considered the red version is actually deemed officially hydraulic Ramone, which makes no sense to me because now it confuses everyone when they actually do release a version of Ramone that is hydraulic. But when they named him initially way back in the day in like 2008, they hadn't done a hydraulic version of Ramone. That didn't come until 2012, I think it was, with the purple version that snuck into the Cars 2 line. Actually, they canceled them out of 2009. Man, we're going deep into the lore, but why stop now when I have 2 prototypes sitting on the table here? So the first prototype I received was this bad boy, which now I am like over the moon that I have in my collection because usually these coded prototypes are not very different from the finalized versions. You know, they'll look like this. Yeah, I'm like, all right, it's pretty much the exact same thing, just with the code slapped on the roof there. Well, not for this version of Lightning Ramone. That is an entirely different shade of red. It's actually, I mean, you could even consider this like salmon or like a light orange because it is so far off from everything else. And yeah, I mean, I think it actually looks kind of cool. And yeah, super neat prototype to have in the collection. The windows are also transparent, so you can see right into that little pop-up, which now I am reminded says Radiator Springs. Hey, that's right. I remember that now. So yeah, that's the pop-up I'm talking about. Everything else pretty much the same though. When was this guy made? T39A, so only 11 weeks apart there. That's kind of interesting. And so now I got this prototype in, and yeah, it just makes more sense for this shade of red to be the finalized version. I think that makes sense, but again, the windows being blue just is absolutely ludicrous to me. Yeah, T44A, so in the timeline of it, this one was made 6 weeks before my official version, but 5 weeks after the other prototype there. So yeah, a lot of lore here. When was this one made in the package? T50A as well. Okay. Look at that, guys. Doing some heavy-duty analysis in this video. Let's now transition over to a comparison with some other versions of Ramone, like Cruisin' Ramone here, who got his Thailand release in 2020, one that I haven't reviewed before. But yeah, another version of Ramone that just has a side decal and a little bit of a deeper shade of red, less orangey red. And yeah, really cool version of him that I think a lot of people, overshadow. Like both of these, honestly, they're both like red versions of him, but everyone prefers this red version of Ramone because it's got all the cool patterns and decals on them. Which, yeah, I mean, in the movie it looks awesome. It also got a Chase metallic release in 2010, which is incredible. And again, that's why Ramone has racked up so many different versions, because you can do any paint job, hydraulic, and you could release some metallic versions as well, which I feel like they haven't fully capitalized on. And yeah, you get Ghostlight Ramone in there, which just adds another version in. Here is the Retro Ramone from the Storytellers line in 2009. Really unique with the yellow squirted in there. Guys, we are going deep into Ramone lore right now. It's absolutely a blast. But all Ramone lore leads back to the beginning, and that is my original Thailand purple Ramone. That's right, this version of Ramone back in the day from 2006 was made in Thailand as well. But when they switched production to China, the differences in the cars was very, very, very minimal. And yet when Thailand came back in 2018, the differences were much, much more amplified. A lot more noticeable. Like you could almost not tell a difference between a 2006 Ramone and like a 2007 purple Ramone, but you could absolutely tell the difference between one of those and then like a 2019 Thailand purple Ramone, or even a like 2019, 2020, 2021 Vietnamese Ramone, which is just so incredibly light purple. Oh, and then they also did a Chinese variant as well here, which I know, again, the Ramone lore it goes so deep, guys. Maybe I should do a whole like 2-hour long video on Ramone. There's definitely enough content to talk about it. But guys, that will do it for the Thailand review here of Lightning Ramone. Expect eventually I'll review Pit Crew member Sarge from Thailand, but because he's just not that excited. I'm sorry, guys. Can we just consider that the review? No, I will do them eventually, but I have a lot of other videos I think are a little bit more exciting to do first. Pit Crew member Fillmore got his Thailand release in 2021. I don't think Pit Crew Guido here has, but we know Mater with Signs got him released the last 2 years. So let me know in the comments below, who is your favorite version of Ramone? I'd love to hear what you guys have on your mind. As always, thank you for watching. Good luck out there hunting for these cars. It's been refreshing how relatively easy things have been able to find in 2025 so far at Target. Walmart's been dog water. I haven't found a single 2025 release at Walmart yet, and yet I've found every case at Target except for Case R, but I'm sure that'll change soon. All right, guys, as always, thank you. Bye now.